hi to the camera.
No.
I'm totally gonna point that out in the video now. My grow tent is getting absolutely crazy. It's so full, and it's time for me to do some upplanting, some more seed sprouting. I have a lot I need to do, and I'm at that point now where we're down to the final 4-week crunch time before things get put outside. I need to make everything a little bit more comfortable in here, and I'm going to take some plants to work and give them away to my fellow coworkers at work, and I need to get all that organized. So I figured I would bring you along and you guys could watch my process on how I upplant and get everything going and get everything ready. Up here in Michigan, we don't really get the luxury of the warmer weather. I know some people have greenhouses and high tunnels up here. Well, I live on my little 1/4 acre suburban lot, so I really can't put a big greenhouse in here. So that's why I start all my seeds and I grow them up until the point before I harden them off to be put out in the garden. I grow them in my grow tent that I have in here. I have 4 levels in here with 4 lights, and of course it's never big enough. I could always use more. But I have peppers and tomatoes, and I started some sugar snap peas. It's a little late to start those, but the ones I put in outside didn't sprout, so I needed to sprout some more. I've got some flowers down here, some eggplants that I need to get potted up. I've got basil, some celery down there. I think today I am going to upplant my tomatoes and upplant my eggplant. I know they're definitely getting too big for their little homes. The first thing that I'm going to upplant out of my grow tent is the eggplants. I have already taken plastic cups and wrote on them on the varieties, because I am going to bring a couple of these to work to give away to my coworkers. I find that just going and buying these plastic cups at your local dollar store, it saves you a lot of money. I think I got like, oh geez, I don't even know now, like 36 cups for $1, I think. And I find that this size, it's a little smaller than a solo cup. I find that this size fits in one of your trays really good. Really good. You can get 3 wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can get 18 that fits in one of these trays. So I'm going to go grab the eggplant so we can get started. My favorite kind of eggplant to grow is a long purple eggplant. I got these seeds from My Gardener this year. And I had some seeds left over from last year, which is just your typical Black Beauty eggplant. They both look pretty healthy, I have to say. The long eggplant is probably my favorite to grow because you get a lot on one plant. Whereas I feel like the Black Beauty, it takes you longer to get that bigger size eggplant. Whenever I work with any soil in my house, I always make sure that I boil it first. It really helps with not having fungus gnats. I have a little burner down here that's just a plug-in one. The water doesn't get boiling, but it gets really, really hot. And I buy Pro-Mix and I add vermiculite to it and perlite to it. If something is going to go outside, then I wouldn't say you really necessarily need to boil it. But if you're keeping it in the house, you're definitely going to want to boil it, because if you've ever had a fungus gnat problem in your house, you understand where I'm coming from. So whenever I'm seed starting, I have this tote, and this is where I do it, mix it all in at. I add the soil, add the boiling water, add the vermiculite, add the perlite, and then that's what I need. And this has already been done. I'm going to go ahead and probably fill it up halfway with dirt. And I also wanted to note that instead of putting holes in the bottom, I just take a pair of scissors. And I take the pair of scissors and I just cut one on each side. So I don't know if you can see it yet, but you can see the little slits in there. It's really simple, super easy. The first one that I'm going to upplant is Black Beauty. I think I only made room for 4 Yeah, and I only planted them. I don't plant very many eggplant. I find that I end up having extra. I'm actually going to put a tray underneath of me so it'll catch all the dirt so I don't make a huge mess. So I'm just going to very, very, very gently. You don't want to disrupt the roots. I mean, if you don't want to keep the eggplant, I would suggest just clipping the eggplant. And in these cups, I'm actually going to put some earthworm castings. Not a lot, but just a little bit to give it some food because, like I said, it's going to be probably another month before they get put outside. So I'm going to give them a little bit of food. I said I wanted to keep it in the tray to not make a mess, but I don't think that's working. So I'm just going to take the little eggplant there and just put it in there. You don't really want to bury it too much. Probably pull this up and press down on it. Fill it in. You don't want to bury too much the stem. You want to kind of keep it level with where the plant was coming out of the soil before. There we go. Got myself a Black Beauty eggplant. I find that only putting, you know, it depends on what kind you're going. Like I said, if it's the long purple, I don't need very many plants to get a lot. It's usually something I give away or freeze at the end of the season, which I know it doesn't freeze the best, but it's better than nothing in the middle of winter. Now on to the long purple eggplant. I really can't wait to get some fresh vegetables. I grew a pepper plant and some Tiny Tim tomatoes up on my windowsill upstairs. So that kind of helps going through the winter. It's nice to just grow something, anything. It's so much better than store-bought big box store vegetables. And I absolutely love eggplant parmesan. I love slicing them diagonally and coating them with a little bit of breadcrumbs. Give them a nice little pan fry, and then taking some of your homegrown tomato sauce, adding some of your homegrown herbs and spices to it to make it like a spaghetti sauce, and then take that delicious red sauce and pour it over the top, and top it off with some Parmesan cheese or some mozzarella cheese. Oh, so delicious. I can't wait. I'm so excited. As much as I love harvest, though, I absolutely love doing this. I love being down here in my basement and playing with dirt, playing with plants, and getting everything ready for the season. You don't have to worry about pests yet, and you don't have to worry so much about plant diseases yet. I find it very relaxing, soothing. My kids always know where to find me if they need me. I guess the hard part about this is trying to figure out where I'm going to put everything. So all of my eggplants are planted up, and I'm going to go ahead and put them in the grow tent now. And I'm just going to give them a quick water. And always make sure that you're watering from the bottom whenever you water any of your plants. I think I'm looking at roughly about 30 tomato plants that I'm actually going to keep for myself, and then the rest I'm either going to give to my mom or I'm going to take it to work. I wanted to go over the varieties that I was going to grow this year. So I'm going to start with cherry tomatoes, Tiny Tim. Of course, I have two actually growing up in my windowsill upstairs, but I love throwing these in pots. They're great. These, I would highly suggest these tomatoes, especially if you don't have a lot of space. White cherry, which I absolutely love, and then sweetie. I kept seeds from my local greenhouse. They grow sweet cherry millions tomato, and I think it's a hybrid. I'm not sure. I kept seeds out of it. I figured I'd just give it a go and see how it turns out this year because I absolutely love how sweet that they are. I am growing two determinate tomato varieties this year. One of them is, I don't actually know the name of it, our local cider mill. I went out there to get pumpkins and they had a bunch of tomatoes left over, so we grabbed some tomatoes while we were out there. They were little determinate orange tomatoes, you know, decent size. So I kept some of the seeds out of them, and I grew it last year. We got a good bucket full of tomatoes from them. They don't grow very tall. They're just a determinate variety. I don't even know what the name of it is, but they're delicious and I grow it. Then I'm also going to be doing Ace 55 is the other determinate variety that I'm trying this year. The orange/yellow varieties that I've grown every year is the Dr. White Cheese and then the Kellogg's Breakfast. Huge fans of orange tomatoes. I love how deliciously sweet they are. Growing the Aunt Ruby's German Green for the first time this year. Cherokee Purple, which I normally grow these. And then the Rose Tomato, which is an absolutely beautiful, big tomato. The Mortgage Lifter, which is another pink tomato. The Rose Tomato is a pink tomato. This is another pink tomato. Huge fan of the Mortgage Lifter. The Alpacas, which I grow those every year. Huge fan of these as well. The Triple L Crop, which is a huge tomato. And then I'm also going to grow the free tomato that Baker Creek sent us, the White Tomaso. I already wrote on all of the cups, so I'll get this out of the way and then I will get my dirt going. Look at those tomato plants. Definitely say they need to be upplanted, huh? Okay, so I'm going to start with my Sweetie cherry tomato. And what I do is I barely put dirt in the bottom of this, because with tomato plants, oh, that didn't come out very well. But anyways, with tomato plants, you're going to bury as much of the stem as you can. What I usually do is just tear off the bottom. I'll tear that one off too. The bottom leaves, so you put it all the way down in the bottom, like that. And the reason why you do that is because all of these little hairs that are on the side of the tomato plant will root out. So I'm going to put a little bit of earthworm casting in here as well. Not much. They don't need much. Just enough to give them a little bit of food. And then I'm going to finish filling the rest of my cup all the way up. And there we go. I'm going to get the rest of these tomato plants done. I will catch up with you as soon as I'm done. I wanted to go over with you, if you have tomato seedlings that get really leggy, it's okay, because you're going to bury the stem anyways. So see how they're like really floppy and they're kind of, well, they are leggy. It's okay, because I'm going to bury them. Don't ever throw out your tomato plants because you think that they're too leggy. Also, if you snap your tomato plant, don't throw it out either, because you can just bury it and the roots will grow off of the side of the tomato. Or you can throw it in a cup of water and you can actually see the roots form. Tomato plants are very, very forgiving. I have most of the tomatoes upplanted. I'm going to finish the rest of them tomorrow. Your tomato plants will look sad for a few hours into tomorrow, but eventually they'll catch and they won't even realize their roots were disturbed, and they'll kick off and grow big, and this will be the last time I upplant them before I get them outside. Leave a comment below on your favorite tomato you like to grow. If you like my content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you on the next one.